Hey everybody, a little bit of a more Boy Got bonus here from DWN Productions Terrible Horror Crap Podcast, sponsored by Fast Custom Shirts. I meant to record this much earlier in the day, but I spent all night since yesterday at around 3:30, 4 o'clock until 7 o'clock this morning, camped out in front of Josie Records here in Dallas, Texas for Record Store Day. And for those of you that don't know, Record Store Day is a day designated for record stores to make money. They drop a lot of exclusive records, and fans like me get there, they line up, and we just spend money. We buy stuff, and some people are there just to buy stuff and flip it, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Uh, I've never gone to camp out for this personally. I've always had a couple of buddies of mine, Roop and his brother Scribbles, have gone, and I give them a list of what I'm after, and if they can get it, they do, and if not, hey, that sucks for me, but I'm not out there spending the time and camping out like they are. This year, I wasn't out of town. I didn't have an event to go set up at, so I was able to make it. No excuses. Went there, got in line, and they've been the first people in line for, I guess, the past 2 years. And so this time I just joined them. There was nobody else there. Very shortly after that, a couple of more people started lining up, and more and more. And as the night progressed, and in the morning, the line was all around the building. And Josie Records, it's a huge record store. It's big. And yeah, man, I wouldn't have wanted to wait that long. I mean, I waited a long time, but I was in the front of the line, so I knew I was more than likely going to get what I was after if the record store had it. That's one of the drawbacks to that, is you don't know until maybe the day of if the record store actually receives the records. Maybe it didn't get shipped. Maybe there was just so few pressings of the record that it didn't get to this store or that store or whatever. Luckily, Josie's is big enough, and they order enough to where you're almost guaranteed they're going to get at least one copy of everything that's on the list. Unfortunately, if you're not first in line or close to first in line, one copy may be gone by the time you get up there. The overnight experience. It was cold. It was cold, especially for here in Texas. Luckily, I brought a jacket with me, and later on in the night, I was like, hey, man, I think I have gloves in the car. Went, got my gloves, and just kind of huddled up. But I'm also a drinker, so at the same time I was drinking cold beer, which probably didn't do me any favors. Yeah, out all night, drinking cold beer, and yeah, man, it's I'm just coming off of a cold, and I think I still got it, and I've probably prolonged this cold because of that. But anyway, everybody in line that was behind us was real cool. People were asking, what you're after. There's other people that are farther back in line, and they'll come up to the front and start asking people, hey, what are you getting? What are you getting? Are you getting... One guy in particular went to everybody and asked, are you getting the Grateful Dead box set? Now, I guess what he was doing was gauging, like, he's so far back, if so many people said yes, and he figured out, like, hey, the record store only has 5 copies of this, then if he counted 7 people that were interested in getting it, he would say, fuck it, I'm gonna go home. There's no sense in me staying in line for something I'm not gonna get. So there was a few things like that. At one point, there was a young lady that came, and she had a pillow and a sleeping roll, and just laid it in front of Scribbles, and Scribbles was the first in line, and she just like proceeded to spread out her stuff like she was going to camp out there. I was freaking out, like, is this chick just cutting? And it's like, what do you say at this point? Do you say, hey, to the back of the line, ho? And then she starts screaming, that you're assaulting her or whatever. We didn't do anything, but luckily the record store employees, they're on top of that shit. They know who got there, when they got there, and they went and asked her, hey, ma'am, what are you doing? Because this is the front of the line. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was the back of the line. No, it's the front doors right there, chick. don't play stupid. So she packed up and went to the back of the line. But that was the only excitement, you know. I nodded off, I guess, at around 4 o'clock in the morning for like an hour. Woke up, and yeah, that's when I saw that there was plenty of people there. 7 o'clock on the dot, they started letting us in, and it is very organized. You know, they let people go through the records one at a time. They have them lined up, and you just go down the line, flip through the records, pull the stuff you want, and nobody is allowed to jump in front of you. And also, you're allowed one copy per person. That way, you know, somebody that's maybe flipping records can't go and just like get a crate of stuff. Like, I think some of the big ones people were after was Taylor Swift, of course, and Van Halen, and I don't know, a bunch of stuff I wasn't interested in. Well, the stuff I was interested in, I did manage to get, starting with this Muddy Waters Woodstock album. So I'm a big blues fan, and Muddy Waters is one of the best. So I've never heard this album, but I know it's him, so I'll grab it. And then I grabbed some more Muddy Waters. And let's see, what is this one? This is a live album, recorded in 1971. So the difference with a lot of the blues live performances, say like with rock or pop or whatever, is they're a lot smaller. You know, they don't have like a stadium crowd or whatever. So usually the recordings are pretty good. I've rarely heard bad ones, but I've picked up some live albums from some of my favorites, and they don't always sound too good. The next one that was on my list was Queensryche Operation Mindcrime 2. Now, 1 is one of my favorite albums, man. I love that album. I listened the hell out of that back when it came out. 2, it's okay. Can maybe do without it, but those of you that know, I'm a big Ronnie James Dio fan, and Dio is featured in this album as Dr. X. So as a completist, I have to have it. You notice behind me there is a latex of old Murray, the Dio mascot. And that was made by Tom, dwnproductions.net. Hit him up for custom work, and maybe he'll make you something as cool as that. I doubt it. That's probably the coolest thing he's ever going to make, ever. He's done. Speaking of Dio, this was another one I was after. This is a live album. They're in tour in Fresno. Beautiful Fresno. No, Fresno sucks. 1983, so this is the original lineup of the band. So I'm looking forward to hearing this. Everybody was going strong. We'll see what the recording is like. This may be another Rhino release, and they are hit and miss on the sound quality, but we shall see. We shall see. Then this was the one I was after. This was what I was in line for, and they only had one copy. I managed to snag it. This is Macho Man Randy Savage's Be a Man album. Yeah, he is not a rapper. He knew that. He was aware of that. They did a lot of work with him to get them sounding as good as it does. It still doesn't sound great, but it's funny. It's a novelty thing, and I don't know, man. I had to have it. Let's see. It's got the colored purple disc, and I've yet to listen to it, but I'll get to that. Oh yeah, first time on vinyl. Then I picked up a couple of things for my daughter. Because I told her I was going to be out there. She sent me a list of things. One of them was the Operation Mindcrime album, but hey, I wanted that, and it's one per customer. So sorry, daughter, I love you, but yeah. But I did get her this Earshot album. I have no idea who Earshot is. Maybe I'll look up some of their stuff later on and see if this is good or not, or to my liking. I don't know. But anyway, got her that one. Then I got her this Violent Femmes picture disc. I am familiar with the Violent Femmes, but not a whole lot. You know, just a lot of the stuff that got radio airplay, or a lot of stuff that my new wave friends listen to or whatever. One thing I never knew was whether they were women or men performing this. You know, Violent Femmes, the vocalist sounds like a chick, but now having seen the back of this, they're all guys. Now I know. Hey, thanks. So, aside from records, Josie Records also sells. They got a lot of posters there. A lot of the posters are badass, but most of them are out of my price range. You can literally spend a day just going through all the posters they have. But they also have a book section. And those of you that know me know I'm quite a nerd. And I picked up this post-mortem horror collection from 1989. Has a slew of horror authors, short stories, and this is how I get to discover new authors or authors I haven't read before, is through short story collections. So looking forward to that. I also picked up The Last Kind Words by Tom Piccirilli, also a horror author, but I don't think this is a horror novel. I think this is more like a suspense or crime straight up. This guy was all over the place, you know, did westerns too. So, and then one thing I learned about this place is their book section is not very organized. You know, it's at first I didn't really see too much, but then as I looked, like I glanced into the romance section and saw Romance by Ed McBain. So yeah, somebody just romance, it's got to belong there. So I pulled it out, took a look, and hey, looky there, signed by old Mr. Ed McBain. I've got other books that are signed by him, so I did recognize that the autograph looked legit anyway. But looking around some more, I saw yet another Ed McBain book, and it had this Mysterious Press logo. For those of you that are book people, you know Mysterious Press books are usually limited or low run, and tend to be autographed as well. And this one was as well. And there's his chicken scratch autograph yet again. So spent less money on books than I did on records. The books were more than reasonably priced, especially for these autographs. Records, there was more stuff I would have liked to have picked up, but I'm a budget man. I probably wouldn't have picked up this much if I hadn't had three Josie gift cards that I used, and that brought my total down by like, I don't know, close to 60, 70 bucks. But man, that's record store day, and it is a boon to commerce. Your record stores, they're mostly all small business owned, just like comic book shops are. So I guess if I'm going to spend money, it'll be with a small business, and it'll be for stuff that I truly enjoy. Those of you that went out, hey, I hope you found the stuff you wanted. If not, they're probably already flipping it. I looked earlier today, and yes, people are flipping this Macho Man album for like 200. One idiot had it on there for 500 already. If you pay that, man, no, I don't know. I guess you got money to burn. I don't know. But if you don't got money to burn, you can always listen to the content on boygob.com, or you can listen to more of our videos. You can click like on this, subscribe. You can go to dwnproductions.net and check out Tom's masks. You can go to fastcustomshirts.com and check out the shirts I got. But other than that, boy God to you.